Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Connor from Civ Haus, and this is Rob, and today we are here with a very interesting and I hope fun piece of content for you all. So I'm going to explain kind of what we're doing, and then we're just going to get right into it, alright? So what we're doing today is what we're calling the Civ Draft. So Rob and I have not, we don't know what each other are going to pick, but let me kind of explain the rules of this first, right? So we are going to draft 2 leaders and 1 Civ from each age. And the purpose of this is we are trying to draft simply what we think are the most game-breaking things in the game. We would want to have the best lineup of leaders and civs at the end possible. These are not meant to be played together, so like I'm not drafting, one leader to play with each of the 3 civs or anything like that. This is just purely, at the end of the day, who has the best leaders and the best civs, and then we'll debate it until we're blue in the face. We've obviously got our faces here on screen as well, and I'm just going to kind of be toggling along on the Civ kind of character select menu and Civ select menu so you can see for yourself what some of these Civs and leaders do. And then on the screen as well, I'll try and have kind of the live draft, and we'll post a graphic at the end of kind of the final picks so you all can kind of debate in the comments as well. Are our picks absolutely ludicrous? Did we make the right calls? Rob, are you excited for this? You nervous? We've never done anything like this before, so this is uncharted waters for both of us.
Oh, I'm so ready to get exposed right now.
No.
It's gonna be so bad. Dude, it's like there's so much to Civ 7, right? And I have not had a chance to play everything yet, right? Like, I mean, I think I've got 50 plus hours in the game, and I have been trying to play as much as I can. Obviously, you and I, for those of the people who do not know, we do other things other than Civ Haus.
Yeah.
And so it makes it hard to just sit down and sweat out and grind out this game all the time because we have other games we got to cover. So I have tried to put in a ton of hours. I've tried to do some research for this, Connor. I think I have my first pick in mind, but I am very afraid at the moment that I'm going to get exposed and people are going to be like, what do you mean that's OP? Like, are you stupid? I'm going to be like, yeah, I am. And that's fine. Bring it on. I think one thing I will say, I think that every Civ, every leader has a way to play that can make them work. There are some that are better than others, but kind of depends on play style too. So
I'm glad you made that point. Is Rob and I have very different play styles. That's going to be probably reflective in what our draft priority is. And yes. It's also worth mentioning that you can draft these all asynchronously. So if Rob thinks that a particular modern age Civ is just the best thing in the game, that could be his first overall pick. Whereas I might choose to draft leaders first because you do have, your leader throughout the game. These are all considerations Rob and I are going to have to make in this draft. So, but at the end of the day, without further ado, Rob, I think since I set up this whole charade, I'll give you a chance to draft first. That way you have at least some shot to beat me here. I've got my notes on my phone here. So, I guess this is it. With the first overall pick of the 2025 Civ Haus Civ Draft, Robert Haynes, you're on the clock.
Da 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 da.
Thank you. I'm glad you did
my
that.
pick. Yeah, I had to. I'm gonna just put my pick in now.
Okay.
And I'm gonna take something that this is gonna be a my guy draft for me.
Okay.
Right. I'm not gonna pick necessarily. I am gonna pick what I think is good, but I think there are some things that maybe you are gonna think that are a little more different than I will. Because I've got my civs already picked out, but there's a leader that I love in this game. There's a very specific leader that I think is very good in this game, and one that I think is actually OP in a lot of different ways. I know there are combinations for people to make insane yields and all this other stuff. But Connor, there's one thing that can win you a game of Civilization as well as anything. Money, baby. Money.
Oh, if you
and I'm going with Machiavelli.
Okay.
For my first pick.
Ooh.
So, look. Okay. Oh, did you think I was gonna take yours? That makes it
I did. That's what a good pick. Though we talked about this in our tier list video, Machiavelli, and we rated very highly. So this is a great first pick off the board.
I've seen tier lists. Almost nobody's had him lower than A from most of the ones that I've seen. He's S to me. The influence is just so big. You can do so many things with it, right? Suzerains are huge in this game. Being able to get some of those extra improvements or units or whatever you would like in that, I think is great. Being able to make money off of just kind of honestly breaking the game in terms of asking people to do stuff with you or against you, even if you know they're not going to, right? Like, there are just so many ways to kind of, I don't know, almost cheat to make just a ton of money. And he can play with so many different civs, and I think that he just works really well with them. But there are two other little parts that I think are really OP. The ignoring the relation requirements for declaring formal wars.
Yeah.
Dude, that's huge.
Yeah.
Massive, 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 massive war weariness, all that. The biggest one, and the one that you and I found out in our game that we have not had a chance to play in a little bit.
Yeah.
But levying military units from city-states that you are not suzerains of.
Yeah.
Imagine if you think a city-state's going to attack you. Okay, I'm just going to take your units. Done.
It's wild.
Or, hey, this guy is pissing me off, and there's no way I'm going to be able to get my units down there in time. I'll just buy out the 2 city-states worth of units right next to him and attack him with that. Right? Like, there's just a lot of different ways that you can play this character. I know I'm more economic and military focused. If you want to take away from that even, you can buy all the improvements that you need to make it so that you're able to get as, pretty high yields for the most part as well in your cities. It allows you to convert a lot more of your towns into cities quickly as well because you have the money to do so. Just a lot of things that I think work very well with this one, Connor, if I'm being honest with you. And that's why Machiavelli is going to be my number 1 pick.
All right, so we had a leader go off the board first. Love that. I think it's a good choice. Like we talked about, I alluded to at least previously, leaders are the one part of this draft that you play through any age in a game, that you are going to be presumably playing through all 3 ages if you play a game. So there is some inherent value in making sure on your board you have the leaders you want. There are also more options for leaders, though, so maybe you want to wait. But either way, love the first pick. I am not going to pick a leader first, Rob. I am going to start off with what I think is the best civilization in Civ. And that is going to be in the Antiquity Age. I am going to pick the Mayan Civ. Maya.
Okay, there it is.
First overall pick. Yeah, if you watch my Let's Play series where I played as Harriet Tubman through the Antiquity Age, I used Maya. I think it is incredible. The Jaguar Slayer is such a busted unit. It's a scout that can lay traps and fight. And you can trap around your whole empire, especially if you're playing a Tubman style where you're a bit more defensive. It's incredibly good. The science you can get in the vegetated tiles is unbelievable. The unique quarter is very good. The ranged unit's very good. Everything about Maya is so good in Antiquity. I know there are a lot of good Antiquity Age Civs, and I'm sure you're going to draft one of them. But I wanted to start off taking Maya off the board because I just wanted it that bad. So Maya Stan over here, fully in effect.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen more and more people commenting on your video about, Maya Harriet Tubman being just OP strong.
Yeah.
I think they're probably right, to be honest with you. I can see how that would work extremely well. And I think the Mayans in general are just really, really good. I mean, those 2 unique units I think are great. Like you said, I think the unique quarter is fantastic. And it's hard not to want to pick it. I will say you did not steal my pick. That was my number 2 though.
Okay.
So I will give you that. I'm not going to pick just for pure strategy wise. I will tell you straight up, my last pick is going to be my Antiquity Civ.
Yeah,
now.
naturally it should. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want you to take it. So I'm going to try to, unless if you have something else, I'm going to try to take something off the board from you.
Go for it. Do it.
Okay. This is tough. Do I go exploration or do I go modern?
And you also have one more leader spot.
Yeah, I think I'm going to keep I think my leader, I don't think you're going to take my leader.
Okay.
To be honest with you. I hate that I'm so economic, so, militaristic, so expansionist, but like my brain goes there for how you can more easily win a game of Civ. Like you don't have to have a, I don't know, what would you call like a hijinksy, like just like a quirky way to try to win, right? Like you don't have to try to like go down a bunch of stuff. Like you can just win through other ways. I'm going to take America in the modern age.
Wow,
okay?
Nice.
Yeah, and it's partially because it's the one I know best. Going to be honest with you on that one. But I also think it is really, really strong. I think that Statue of Liberty, being able to get to that easy, getting those 4 migrants. Bro, when you're in the modern age, you got to find ways to, I think, expand comfortably, especially if you've been playing the game since the Antiquity Age. I know things change, obviously, with the age transitions, but being able to grow really quickly with that, I think, is smart. If you want to just pop it all down on one city, right, or one town, I think that that's really good. I think the industrial park is pretty solid as well.
Yeah.
I think food is super important in this game, so getting the increase in food is really good. I like the unique units. I think the Marine and the Prospector are cool, but I'm going to be honest, the Yankee Ingenuity, I believe it is, or it's Captains of Industry, one of the two. Which one is this? Yeah, it's the Yankee Ingenuity. You get a +1 settlement, limit upgrade, which I think is huge. Being able to have that naturally within your Civ, I think is nice. And then getting 100 gold for every time you improve a resource also is super unbelievably strong.
Yeah.
You pairing that with the migrants that you are more naturally able to get with the Statue of Liberty, and then you've got the settlement limit as well. By the time you're in the modern age, you're gonna probably expand. A lot of people do. If you're not already building tall and you're kind of in that in-between point, these are the things that you're gonna want. So I'm gonna take the modern Civ off. This is a strategy. I don't think that it's necessarily the best of the 5 things that I'm picking, or even the second best, to be honest with you. But strategically, I thought maybe that would be one that you would naturally go towards, and I wanted to just take it off the board. So
Yeah, I think America is in my top 3 of modern age civs. I'm not going to say what the other 2 are because, one of them is going to be revealed in this draft, presumably. But yeah, good to, and from just we're both American. Good to see America go off the board early. We need it right now. It's great. All right.
yeah,
So for my second pick, I'm actually going to go ahead and look at a leader because I just would like to get one.
okay.
I have several leaders in mind. I've already alluded to one. I do love Harriet Tubman. There is a leader, though, that I think I've had a ton of success with this leader in the Antiquity Age, Exploration Age, Modern Age. This is one that I think can transcend just about any age, and that is going to be Xerxes the Achaemenid down here. I didn't know if you, and I also, knowing you and your money talk over there, I figured this could be a little bit of a snipe. So that's good. So Xerxes is unbelievably strong, especially when it comes to economy. If you pair him with like the Axum Civ in Antiquity, it's unbelievable. You and I have both done that, Rob, and we did it without telling one another. We just both came up with it. It's a brilliant opening strategy. I think my Antiquity Age, I ended with, on either Immortal or Deity, I ended with every single legacy path completed besides Culture, and like by a pretty significant margin. The trade route limit is great, but honestly, the 50 Culture and 100 gold when you create a trade route is amazing. Especially, I think the Oxum have the Dow, which is that ship that you basically it's a fighting ship that also can create a trade route in its lifespan, which is great. Synergy with this. So overall, I think Xerxes the Achaemenid is a ton of value. Whether you're playing science, economy, culture, military, I think a lot of things can fit in with this leader. So that's my first leader off the board.
That is a bummer. That is a bit of a snipe. I was between him and somebody else. So,
okay.
Yeah,
take the other one,
that's
then.
a bummer. Yeah, maybe. I don't like King of Kings as much as the Achaemenid, to be honest with you. Yankie's still good. It's just that, like, even for me, being at war all the time is kind of tough.
Yeah.
The +1 settlement limit per age is a really good portion of that one. But this one is just so good. Culture is really important, finally, I feel like. I feel like the culture tree has so much more to it. It's so much more, I don't know, robust than it was in Civ 6, to be honest with you. I feel like I have to pay attention to it, whereas, to be honest with you, in Civ 6, I was just kind of like, technology all the way, baby. I don't care about the rest, right?
Yeah.
And so the culture tree, I think, is really good. And I think that's a great pick, to be honest with you. I feel like I would have won straight up if I would have gotten those two. I personally would have liked the both of them together.
Yep.
Now I gotta worry if you're gonna try to snipe my second leader or not. And this is where the strategy comes in. This is where I wonder: it's like, are you gonna snipe my last one? Are you gonna fall back on Harriet Tubman, who I don't need? I'm gonna take a chance. I'm gonna say no leader.
Okay. Holding off.
I'm gonna hold off because I've been between 2 different civs for the exploration age. And one of them is because of actually what the exploration age is about, right? And the second one is because, well, money. And I'll just tell you, my two that I'm between right now are the Chola and the Spanish.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
because I think that they both they both exemplify what's great and what's important to be doing in the exploration age. Also, again, I'm a big expansionist. I love the El Escorial being the only wonder, I believe, in the game that gives you an extra settlement limit, which I think is important because I really do believe that the more towns you have and the better placed they are, the more you can do things. Treasure fleets, the more you can, have insane yields in other places, even if your city isn't necessarily in the best spot. Oh boy,
It's a tough choice. They're both good civs. I mean, both can really succeed in the exploration age. I will let you know.
Yeah.
I feel like I can say this. I feel like you're going to pick one of these. Neither of these two are on my exploration age list. So, but I did really consider the Chola. They're probably third.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with them, to be honest with you. And here's why: is I'm big into trading as well. Not just the money, but I think that the different resources, and I think they want you to be big in trading. That's the whole freaking point of all these treasure fleets and everything that you get in the exploration age. And the Kalam. The Kalam is one of the most insane units in the game.
Yeah.
Just because of the fact that once you get to a place to attack, once you kind of settle down, the fact that you can attack twice is incredible.
Unbelievable.
The Otru, I believe is what it's called, is the naval commander, right? That is very helpful, very strong in its own right. The 500 lords, which is the unique quarter, right, is just insane. When something I've been running into on the larger maps is the amount of trade that you can do is very limited, which can hurt you when you're going for those economic points, right? And so being able to get that extension, getting the additional trade route from trade agreements as well is pretty insane, to be honest with you, because a lot of civs are willing to do that with you. A lot of leaders are. So I think it's a really good one. I think the Shoal is really strong. I'm not just saying that just because I'm playing it right now in my Ibn Battuta Let's Play. I just looking through all of these, I feel like that one is probably one of the best ones out there. Like you said, I really wanted the Normans to be good, but they're kind of crap, to be honest with you. So
I will say the Cholas. I would imagine I'm using in my Achaemenid run, which he's on screen right now. It's kind of funny. I would imagine he is extremely good with the Chola as well. I went with the Songhai in my playthrough with him, but Chola seems like it's an incredible fit for him in the exploration age. Well, that leaves me now up to draft. I have, by the way, for those keeping track, I have not yet picked an exploration age civ or a modern age civ, and I have one more leader. So I'm going to go ahead and get my last leader off the board. And there are some good choices left, folks. There are some leaders that I think people really love. Maybe, people would think are in those higher tiers. And I'm going to, I think, pick one of those. And I'll tell you, Rob, I'm between two right now. I'm genuinely torn between Confucius and Isabella. I think both completely different play styles. One is obviously cultural, economic. Isabella with wonders is just insane. Confucius with science is one of the strongest science civs or science leaders in the game, without a doubt.
Oh, easily.
Maybe the strongest. And I do love a science playstyle, especially I picked the Mayans in Antiquity, and that would be a great synergy. But as much as I love science, I love a natural wonder, and I love having that great starting point in Antiquity. Having your first, your founder be able to found right near a natural wonder and get those yields and get everything increased from it just sets you up with such a, it's like jet fuel to start your game. And so I am picking Isabella for my second leader here officially. Again, 300 gold every time you discover a natural wonder. Doubled if the natural wonder's in distant lands. 50% gold towards purchasing naval units. You also get Spain and Mexico as civs from playing Isabella, which I think is really important. You talked about Spain. Spain is a good exploration age civ, and Mexico is a fantastic modern age civ, which we might come back to later. But I'm going to be picking Isabella for my second leader.
I will tell you, Isabella was on my list. I had three that I was trying to pick between, and Isabella was probably gonna be it. To be honest with
Man.
you, for the monies. So that's a great snipe. Dude, we ranked her pretty low because we didn't know how likely it was. Because like in old Civs, you had starting biases, but it just like it felt like, it was like a 50-50 shot maybe.
Yeah.
And when I was thinking about it, it was like if you don't get a chance to restart, let's say you're playing a multiplayer game, if you don't start next to one, it's kind of tough, right? But with the way that exploring goes in this game, the amount of map that you're able to really find and see, I think it's really good. And I think she's honestly fantastic. So I think that's a great pick, to be honest with you, and one that I think is tough. So I'll tell you, it's between her. I'll pick my last leader here.
Okay.
Is between her, Ibn Battuta,
Yeah, I need
and Augustus.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, for me. So I'm down now to Ibn and to Augustus. And
Yeah.
and it's interesting. They both have two things I think are interesting. And what I find to be most intriguing about Ibn is he's the only wild card one. And he gets
Yeah.
an extra wild card slot, which I think is really, really good in the game, to be honest with you. And along with that, I think that his ability to do trade maps and see other people's civilizations is actually insane, to be honest with you. It helps so much more than you realize when you can kind of see like what's going on right in the game. Like the amount of times in my playthrough that I've seen a city be taken by somebody else because I see their map and I can know what's going on, like where they are, it allows me to make better decisions on my game. But that is a little bit more of a personal preference. When it comes to stronger, I think it's hard not to pick Augustus. Augustus and Rome are such a great combination, to be honest with you. And I'm not saying I'm picking Rome, but like, dude, the two production and the capital for every town, right? And then your cultural you can purchase cultural buildings in towns. That's super strong. And on top of that, you get plus 50% towards building purchases in towns and generals. Being able to put up a city like that is a cultural center without it having to be a cultural town necessarily, right? Getting that extra production, all roads lead to Rome, right? Like that kind of mindset to me, it's just too good, to be honest with you, in my opinion, for you not to take a chance on it. I don't think you were probably going to pick Augustus, but I do. Again, I have found a new love and appreciation for culture that I've never had in any of these games before. And I think it's because of how many things you get with culture. I like that they've tied in so many buildings, so many wonders, so many improvements in general. I think that that's so good. And I see culture sometimes as actually being better than technology.
Yeah.
At times, to be honest with you, because you also get the cultural tree per your civ.
That's
right. And that could be very important too. So I'm going to go with Augustus, and I feel good about that. I know I'm picking the two technically Italian guys, the guys from the Italian peninsula, right? For Machiavelli and Augustus. But I'm really happy with those two, to be honest with you. And I'm proud of myself for not just going towards military and economic with this one. I really, really, really like Augustus. He feels good. He just feels good too.
Yeah, I think what I like about your leaders, and what I think is, there's some of that in mine as well, but not quite, is they're very adaptable. You can play a lot of different play styles. You mentioned Ibn as well. That is kind of the picture of adaptability. And in Civ, I mean, I have had multiple games where I go into a game and I'm like, all right, I'm going to dominate science this game. That's 100% how I'm going to win. And I get 6 hours into the playthrough and I'm like, well, actually, because of the tiles I'm on, economy makes way more sense, and I'm consistently dominating on the economy ladder. And being able to pivot to that is a really important part of this game at a core kind of gameplay element and mechanic. So I think you have good leaders to do it. So I like your picks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, so
I'm interested to see what else you got coming up here.
Yeah, so you, to make sure I understand, you just have your Antiquity Age Civ left, and I have my Modern and Exploration Age Civs left.
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay, so I am going to pick my Modern Age Civ next. I am between two here as well, since I can freely talk about this. You've already picked yours. And that is going to be King here, with all the benefits you get from imported resources. And I love some good trade. It's very, very strong, it feels. As well as Mexico. Mexico, I think, has a ton. The Revolucion unique government is amazing. There's a lot about Mexico that I just really like. The unique quarter is very, very good. From a cultural perspective, I mean, if you could get this on a run with Isabella and already have a lot of culture and economy baked in, this just feels very, very good. We talked a lot about culture on this ranking, which is kind of funny. Not something I think either you or I usually gravitate towards.
No, not at all.
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, as much as I want to pick Mexico, I am going to have to go ahead and go with the King Civ in the modern age. And let me, again, I think this unit, this Civ is amazing as well. The unique merchant is great. Just all of it synergizing towards trade. That to me is a really fun way to play the modern age, is to really be ultra interconnected with all the different Civs in the game, all the different empires, and really just lean into that strategy. Again, the imported resource bonus is unbelievable there.
Huge.
Yeah, but for me, for my draft strategy, kind of my whole draft framework, I feel like strong starts in Civ are the most important thing. I think games can certainly be turned around in the beginning of the exploration age, beginning of the modern age. That's kind of the beauty of those ages in a sense. But without a solid framework, it is just very hard for me to feel good in a game of Civ. And I also just feel much more comfortable in the Antiquity Age than any age. So for me, like, my last pick is an Exploration Age Civ, because to me that matters the least in a grand scheme of a game of Civ. So to me, it would be my last pick, even if there was a Civ in the Exploration Age I felt was very strong, because I just value that age the least right now in terms of win condition. Modern, I can see the other side for, because you win the game in the modern age. Frankly, I mean, that's where you tie the bow on the you tie the bow and it's done, right? So there is value here, but I think that all starts in Antiquity. So just a little bit of like my draft framework here. That's kind of what I was going into with this, but yeah, I'm going to take the King Civ in the modern age here for sure.
Okay, I'm putting it in.
Okay,
putting it in there. So we're down to Antiquity, and for me, an Exploration for you. Mm-hmm. And I will say, I think the King are really strong, by the way, as well. I was very close to taking them as well. So
that's fair.
Okay. Oh, gosh. This is the one I know the most about. This is the one I have the least confidence in terms of what I want to do.
Sure.
I think there's some really good and some really bad, right? I think, generally speaking, it depends, as always, on how you want to play, right? And I was between the Kamai. I thought it was Khmer, but it's the Kamai, apparently.
Okay.
I was corrected on one of my videos for that. And the Han. But I'm ultimately going to go with, I think, again, a personal favorite. I'm going to go with the Mississippians, man.
Wow, I like it.
They feel great. And their burning arrows in the early game are so strong. The Watanabe, as well as a trade unit, is really good. The Pot Cup. Dude, you can just rent food and money with those things. I mean, I'm playing against, I believe it's Himiko, High Shaman, Mississippian, and she was just driving me nuts, honestly. I mean, she had so much freaking gold.
Yeah.
It's wild. And, I think there may be better units and things like that out there. I saw a tier list recently that had Burning Arrow very much near the top of the overall Civ tier list of units. And I think that they alone are so strong, because what I see them as is they're able to deter and grow at their own rate. And I think that that's really important in the Antiquity Civ. Even if you don't necessarily want to go out there and be on the offensive, I think that being able to scorch the ground that units are on, be able to burn through units, especially if they're ahead of you on the tech tree, I think can be really, really good. And you get them before the slinger you get them instead of the slinger, right? And I think that that's really important too, because slingers are just, they're not as good as archers in this game, right? And when you upgrade from the slinger, they go to the archer. So it's like, I think it's really good. And then the Watanabe, the last thing I'll put on here as well is you get plus 25 gold per resource, right? When you do a trade route. And in early game trading, I know obviously I went a lot towards the trading, but I do think that trading is super important in this game. I think, truthfully, weirdly enough, while I think science is really good, I don't know that it matters as much to be ahead anymore. I think they intentionally took that part of the game out of each age, right? With the age transitions, you kind of just automatically catch up with everybody, right? You're not going to have people launching rockets in the 1600s anymore. It's just not happening, right? So, like, to me, they've put a new emphasis on trade, on the economy, in a very good way that it feels like to me. And so I'm happy with the Mississippians here. I had a feeling you probably weren't going to take them, but I think that they are able to do a lot of things. I think they're able to grow quickly. I think they're able to have a very good, economy that has started with them. And then you're able to get even better economy through trade routes. So
yeah, great pick.
I'm very happy with those. So yeah, you guys can probably see I went with my draft strategy was slightly to have a lot of cohesive units, right? I know we're not necessarily making a team, but like in my mind, like if I'm going to do a draft, I'm going to kind of want something that's slightly cohesive, even though I don't go all of these in a row, although I guess kind of I could, to be honest with you. I could go Machiavelli, Mississippi, and Chola America and probably be okay now that I think about it. But, if we do another one of these, I'll try to change it up a little bit. I won't just go too much down these, but these are what I think are strong. And I do think, again, money is always important in these games. Growth and production are always important in these games. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with these, Connor.
Yeah, I think between you and I, we have two of my favorite Antiquity Age units in the Burning Arrow and the Jaguar Slayer. I think they are both incredibly fun. You get so much value out of each, and it just feels like it's all you want to buy for the first 50 turns are those units. I mean, maybe farther than that. I'm surprised you didn't choose Axum. I know you and I both like that Civ, and it is an absolute financial beast. 2 gold on resources is crazy. And then obviously the Dow is great. You get the Tonka as well. But I love the Mississippian. I don't think they get enough love. I think they are a super underrated Antiquity Age Civ, so kudos to you for seeking them out and picking them. I think it's a great pick.
Yeah, Oxum was another one I was considering. I think the Great Steely is really strong.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, and being able to get 2 that's quickly is good. I've actually felt like the Dow isn't as great, to be honest with you. The more that we've talked about it and the more that we've played, I don't dislike it, but I just don't think it's as
it's a bit map dependent.
Good.
You need naval trade routes early, which can be hard to come by. And in my seed I was playing through on Xerxes, I had a ton of them, and so I had like 5 Dows, and they were all being used, and it felt so good. But that's a bit rare.
For mine, I had none.
Yeah,
I think I had 1 city. I think I showed you when we were talking about it. I think I had 1, and so I was like, oh, this feels terrible. And it's by the time that it would matter, right, would be the exploration age, and they're going to be gone. So it's like,
naturally,
kind of a bummer. But yeah.
All right, that's my
last pick.
This leaves the last pick to me, and I am in the exploration age. Boo, exploration age, no fun. That's how I feel about it. That's how I think a lot of people feel about it. But that's okay. We still have to pick a Civ in this age. I'm not going to do this, but I facetiously will say I'll pick the Inca because they're just the best. No, I know people don't like the Inca, but let me just say this to all you Inca haters. Machu Picchu is unbelievable. It is worth it to play this Civ just because you get it early. You just research the Incan civic tree, get it fast. The yields you can get from Machu Picchu are unbelievable. I have a video on it with my Harriet Tubman playthrough. Plug the Let's Play. Yet again, I know. But I'm not picking the Inca as much as I'd love to. Although if you're going to play the Inca, play him with Pakakuti, and then you're just a mountain lord. Sounds really fun. I've never done it, but sounds like it fits perfectly. For this, I had a couple different directions I wanted to go down. The Chola is one that I thought about, honestly. Chola seems very good. Mongolia is one that I thought about because, sometimes you just say, forget exploring, I'm going to dominate my home continent. And that sounds like a really fun way, especially I just did a a top exploration age leader and civ combos video. Another plug, shameless today. And that one had Mongolia and Charlemagne on it, and I think that is extremely powerful. Mongolia can feel unbelievable in this age, I really think, from a military perspective.
I agree.
But at the end of the day, I really like, and this may be unpopular, I really like the Songhai as a exploration age civ. Let me kind of talk about why. So, resource capacity on cities and navigable rivers. I think resource capacity is one of those stats that no one really talks about, but can be it can be huge when you're playing an economy legacy path in the exploration age, especially if you had a really good antiquity age. You're going to run out of slots in your cities quickly, and having this on navigable rivers, that's going to be your kind of focus right away, seems very, very good. Yeah, you get the Tomb of Askia, I think is how you pronounce that. You get that a little bit faster. The Songhai infantry unit here, the Gold Bangles Infantry, is awesome. You get +5 combat strength on resource tiles and 100% gold from pillaging trade routes. So you get basically value if you're sending them out to pillage, and you also get value if you're keeping them at home to defend on resource tiles. Or that also applies offensively on resource tiles, right? So these are just, they do good when there's money around to be made. I love it. It's also just a cool theme, right? You get what should be just called Tanjiro, because I'm a Demon Slayer fan, but it's Tajiro or Tahiro, the unique merchant, and then you also get the unique building there for gold. All in all, this is one that I'm not a huge military person, and so this isn't really the, it says economic militaristic up there at the top. I really don't think that's necessarily true, though. This one feels purely economy to me. So that really is, I mean, the only thing about this that's military, I feel like, is the Gold Bangles Infantry, and even they have an economy piece to them. So for me, the Exploration Age is all about money. It is about expansion in that way. There's not a lot of tech in the Exploration Age. It's very exciting. I've tried so many times to play really wide and found on islands and do kind of that part of the Exploration Age. It just doesn't feel as good. But I think if you can plug into heavy trading and get your economy going with the Songhai, it is very, very strong. So again, I don't know how people would rate them at large. I try not to look at too many community tier lists, a few here and there. But because no one knows what they're talking about at the end of the day. You love it. Us included. No, we definitely do. But yeah, so I'll go Songhai with my final pick of the 2025 Civ House Civ Draft. Rob, what are your thoughts on your team? How are you feeling about it? You feel good, bad, somewhere in between? What are your thoughts?
I will say Songhai, by the way, the increased resource capacity, if you and I had read that before the game started, I would have been like, who cares?
Yeah.
That's so big. Having automatic camels is great.
Yeah.
Getting camels with that, really good.
Crazy.
I mean, I like my draft. I think that I've got some good, again, this was a my guy draft.
Sure.
Right, which for those of you who maybe don't know sports, sports ball, for the NFL, especially the NFL draft, there are times when you pick people maybe out of position based on what you think is good, right? And maybe that other people don't see as good. I liked my Machiavelli pick. I had a feeling you probably wouldn't take him, but like losing Machiavelli would have been worse for me than losing either of the other two that you picked. Although I liked both of yours a lot, to be honest with you. They were probably both in my top 4 for sure.
That's fair.
Yeah, but I'm really happy.
You go.
Sorry?
You finish. I was gonna say.
No, you go.
Finish your thought, but give me also one honorable mention. One thing that you didn't pick that you really, really wish you would have. It could be from anything, but give me one honorable mention.
Oh boy,
I'm putting you on the spot here. Not planned. So
I'm a little sad I didn't pick even Tudo.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, the flexibility is so good. I love the maps.
Yeah.
Being able to see stuff without having to send your people out is so nice, right? And it allows you to, I think, have a better understanding of where you're at. Like in my playthrough, again, shameless plugging, but like it's the easiest way to talk about it. And I've had this in a couple ones, but the one that I know you guys can see, Confucius is on the other side of my continent. And there's a very literal split between me and them with other civilizations. It's like, Himiko's like this, I'm over here in this corner. You got Ben Franklin down here. You got Ashoka doing this thing. You got Confucius over here. So like I am on the opposite side. But I finally met them. But the one Civ that doesn't seem to want to freaking kill me all the time, even though I've done nothing militaristic in that playthrough. I've just been wanting to be a trade empire. They're not letting that happen. But I did trade maps with him, and I could actually see what was going on. Like, I could see when Ashoka took his cities. I could, kind of get an understanding of where other things are in the map. I got blocked off so quickly. So I had no idea what I was going to do or where I was going to go, right? And even in the exploration age, I got kind of screwed over because I couldn't really, Jose Rizal was not allowing me to go through his lands.
Yeah.
So I was able to trade map with Xerxes in that game, and I could actually get an idea of where the hell everything was at. So
yeah.
I think that can be very strong with Ibn Battuta, especially early on in the game. I think it's a crazy strong thing, because if you think about knowing where a civilization's capital is, especially if you remember, like in Civ 6, I would intentionally say no, and even still now in Civ 7, I say no to showing my capital.
Yeah.
Because dude, the deities, as soon as they know where you're at, man, they are like hawks. They're just all over you. So I think vision is really important. And I love the ability to be a wild card, right? To kind of play the style whatever way you end up fancying. And I know that means that he's not going to be as strong in one area, right? He's not going to be able to create insane yields like, Catherine or Isabella can, but he's going to be able to do kind of anything that you need in the game. And like you said, sometimes you just kind of get screwed. So I think he's really good for reasons other than what a lot of people would pick for him. But yeah, that would be the one that I'm a little sad about. What about for you?
That's fair. So it's funny. I think my pick is going to be very similar to yours, and I'm going to pick my Let's Play leader, and that's going to be Harriet Tubman. Again, I don't know how, necessarily S tier I would say Harriet Tubman is. But the ability, the espionage playstyle it just feels free. You're just getting free science and free culture, all these things at such a discounted rate and for no penalty. Because if these other leaders get angry with you and they declare war against you, you're at a huge advantage in war. Starting off with the 5 war support is unbelievable, and I've usually had enough influence because you play usually leaning into influence with Harriet Tubman, that I can usually add 1 or 2 more onto that. You could have 6 or 7 war support every time on deity or on immortal. That is a huge benefit, and you can defend pretty much all the time. And again, and just again, you even have a better way to defend because you're entrenched in vegetation, which you don't get penalties from. Everyone else does. So I really have enjoyed playing with Harriet Tubman. It's also cool to just play as an American leader and have a success with them. I don't love Benjamin Franklin's play style as much, so it's been fun to play Harriet. And so, yeah, I will go with Harriet Tubman. But that is going to wrap up the Civ Draft here. Basically, what we want to hear from you all is if you just took all of our leaders and all of our Civs and you kind of took them out of context and put them in a tunnel against one another, which is a stronger pool in your minds? Let us know in the comments. Let us know how you would draft this differently, maybe what your number 1 overall pick would be. And if you enjoyed this, like and subscribe. That's the best way to say thanks for doing this goofy Civ Draft to us. That helps us keep the channel alive, keep making videos, all that good stuff. So again, as always, we love the support we get from you all. We've gotten a lot of great comments on our videos, a lot of great feedback. We ask that you continue to do those things, and we just appreciate you all in general. But that'll do it for today. And so from our house to yours, we hope you'll join us for one more turn. We'll see you next time.